Well, howdy, y'all. It's Frightman, and I am here to keep you spooktacular. Today, we're going to be assembling and doing a demo of the Phantom animated prop from Sam's Club Halloween 2022. So, let's get started. First things first, what's in the box? So we have the base with the power source. We have a motor that's going to control him turning left and right. His support poles to build him up. His arms. We have his costume. We have hands, and one of the hands is actually attached to a lantern, which will be lighting up as he swings it. We have the control box, standard control box that has on-off step pad and a volume control. And last but not least, we have his face. So first we'll be starting with his base, and his base has two parts of the frame that just simply fold out just to give him more support. This is actually really good. If you put him in your yard, this is good to be able to stake him down with. And then there are four poles that build up his height. They're all four the same. So it's very easy to put on the four poles. It doesn't matter which one you put first. You're just going to put one on one side, one on the other side, and then we're going to do the same thing again with these two poles. So this is what we look like with the support structure built and in place. Next up is sliding the bottom portion of his costume over these two poles. The bottom portion has an elastic waist. The top portion has a hood, just to help you, so you know which piece to put. So we're going to slide the bottom portion right over these two poles. With the costume slid down over the two poles, next we'll be installing his waist motor, which allows him to turn left to right. That simply slides down on top of the two support poles that we installed earlier, and then using the push pin clips, we're just going to lock this into place. Next, we'll be installing his waist ring. That's a tongue twister. Waist ring. I got it. I'm not saying that again. It has two hooks here that are going to go onto the side of the actual motor mechanism here. And you can't get this backwards because one of these poles that it hooks into is larger and one of them smaller. So it really only fits one way. The purpose of this is two parts. One, it's going to give him, actually it's three parts. One, it's going to give him a waist. Two, it's going to keep clothing from getting caught up in the motor mechanism here. And then lastly, it's going to hold up the clothes that we just dropped down onto these poles. And now with that done, we can go ahead and bring the bottom portion of the costume up over the W ring. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the power to the power box. There are a few wires here. One's going to be for the hand to light up that lantern, and the other is going to be for the face. And then we also have a wire coming off with the sensor that's going to attach to the top portion of the costume as soon as we have that installed. Now we're ready to put on this head. So as we put on the head, one of the things that I'll point out about the head is it looks a little ridiculous, right? Yeah, it does. But wait until you see it covered with the shroud. So if you notice, this has a metal frame that goes around the face here, and this is where the shroud is actually going to be covering all of this. And a side note is this does not have to be a standing prop. There is a string up here. He is capable of also being a hanging prop if that's what you choose to do. Now we're moving along pretty fast. Let me take a moment to say I like to rank from a scale of 1 to 10 complexity. This guy's pretty easy. He's going together very fast. I'm going to say a complexity scale for installation is probably only about a 3. So 1 being the easiest, 10 being the hardest. So a 3 makes it a really good beginner prop. Now we're ready to take the upper portion of his costume. We'll be sliding this down over the face hood, over really everything. So in another video, I talked about that prop being all about the base. This guy is all about this face. It's like magic. Where did it go? And now we're ready to put on the arms. So the arms are simply going to hook over the inside into the frame. We'll be maneuvering up these arms up through the sleeves here and just hooking them onto the inserts that are attached to the frame. There's just a little hook that they go right into. So we have those arms on the hooks. And another thing, again, making this an easy prop to work with is having that costume in an upper portion and a bottom portion, because it's easy to pull this up, to get these hooks on. And of course, it's going to be easy for our next step, which is going to be finding the sensor and Velcroing the sensor right here into the front of his costume. So that sensor has been attached here to the front of the costume. And next we'll be sliding his hands into the armholes. And then we'll be taking the costuming and placing it up over the arm, which it will Velcro up here onto the hand. And then there is, in this case, one wire that goes from the lantern that will feed through the arm and plug down here into the control mechanism. So I've made those finishing touches here to the wires. We have all of the wires attached with the hands going to the control box. There's also a wire coming down from the head that needs to be attached to the control box. So he's nice and cleaned up pretty well. And one other note, you'll see that he's towering over me. So I'm guessing this guy's probably like 7 feet tall. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for the demo.
3, 2, 1.
At last you are here. Come closer. I will escort you into the shadows of the night. Greetings. I have drawn you to this spot so I can guide you into the unknown beyond. Greetings. I have drawn you to this spot so I can guide you into the unknown beyond.
And now it's time for my final thoughts.
I like him. I like him a lot. Now, in my yard, I don't use the sensor motion. I just leave him on a continuous running loop. And I do turn the volume down a little bit. It's really loud, and I don't want it competing with other items out in the yard. But for $119, he was a steal. Online, I think he's going probably more like $189 right now. But it's still a pretty good deal. Very easy to put together. A very good beginner prop. If you like this video, I would suggest that you watch the 7-foot animated werewolf video. Please don't forget to subscribe and make sure you ring the bell because you don't want to miss my next video. Until next time, stay spooky, my friends.